request the DG and the minister. I'm advised that the minister is requested to join another meeting. Thanks very much, Mr. Matonzi.
Yes, Chair. From my side, there was Miss Ngobese Zuma. I can't see her in the meeting anymore unless if she has used a different gadget or any other member from March and March is in the meeting. Oh, okay. No, she's here, Chairperson.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ngobese Zuma and your team. We really appreciate for responding to the invitation on the matter you have raised with the Speaker of the National Assembly through the memorandum, and it was referred to us. I'm sure you have captured how we have processed this subject matter. It's an opportunity to comment or raise some of the issues as a result of this response. Ms. Zuma, thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair, and greetings to the honorable members. I'd like to firstly thank you all for affording us this opportunity. We had submitted this memorandum with the hopes that we would get a chance to actually be given this platform, and it is very much appreciated. I'm just going to give a quick outline of who March and March is, just so the members can understand who we are. March and March is actually a movement that started on social media where South Africans were raising a number of concerns when it came to illegal immigration and the effects of it. We gained traction when there was the spaza shop deaths for the little children, and also there was a number of kidnappings that were continuously being reported every week. That is when we decided that it's not time for us to sit back and it's time for us now to do something, and we wanted to act. We wanted to march, but we realized that marching doesn't give much of an impact if it's a one-day event, if I can call it an event. We have gone across the country trying to forge relationships with the police, with border management, with home affairs departments, with schools, with hospitals, the health departments, etc. And all of this is in the hopes that one day our voices will be heard as South Africans. So much as much is really South Africans that have come together and said they no longer want to be spectators. They want to be on the ground doing what is right to save the country. Upon observation, we realized that there's a lot of our resources that are being abused, and in terms of that, it ended up costing a lot of South Africans in hospitals where they would end up in queues, and some would end up even dead because they're not getting the resources that they had been hoping to get. In schools, it's the same problems that we're getting, and all of these we're getting on email. In SASA and grants places, it's the same when it comes to social grants. I mean, we've even received complaints from people who are at homes, these homes that keep children, that a lot of people who are illegal immigrants just go there and they drop their children in the hopes that those children become documented South Africans. And it's a common thing now. People can come from certain countries with certain illnesses and just walk into our borders and get help or get the documents that they want, especially with the assistance of Home Affairs officials. And it's disappointing for me. I would have hoped that the minister would have been here to hear us out, because I feel like this is where his responsibility and duty comes in the most, because he is the image of this department, and the language that he communicates to the public and his posture when it comes to the issue of illegal immigrants is very important, because that is how people who are in the country legally respond when they know what government is saying. When we say it as South Africans, we get abused, we get hurled with insults, we get called names. It's we are labeled as xenophobic, because currently in the country, it seems that South Africans are the ones who must be oppressed for other people from other countries to come and thrive in this country. And we want to say that we can no longer afford this. And so I'm appealing to you as members of parliament to really take this matter as seriously as the future of yourself and your children as well. Because currently at the rate things are going, we're not going to have a country for our children. And the saddest thing is we keep toying around the legalities of it. And I was very happy to hear that there is some acknowledgement of the issue that our laws contradict themselves. And that is where our biggest problem is. Because right now, the government is toying around and creating a fertile ground for violence where South Africans feel like they are not heard. And, there's people who are from non-South Africans who are on social media taunting us every single day, telling us we're not going anywhere, your laws are weak, there's nothing that you can do to us, etc., you're not the government, etc. And these are the exact issues that need to touch us personally as South Africans, more than it should touch us as people who are playing a specific role. So I really do call upon all South Africans right now, especially yourselves as decision makers, to really prioritize this issue, because this now is the biggest crisis that we have in the country. People with no jobs are looking for this particular portfolio committee to do the right thing and enforce laws that are going to be so serious that they're going to force people who are here looking for jobs or getting jobs and they're not South Africans to actually go about it the right way, because we can't be importing poverty from all other countries and saying people must just come in here and sell on tables because they have rights and their dignity and their human rights are important. All human rights are important, but they cannot supersede the existence of the country. They can't be more important than the existence and the protection of South Africa and South Africans. I'm going to touch a little bit on some of the issues that we've noted after we've sent the memorandum, and I do appreciate that the memorandum has been acknowledged and some of the issues touched on. But we've realized that there's a serious failure to enforce the mandatory reporting by the organs of states. Now, this includes schools, clinics, hospitals under Section 42, which legally obliges them to make sure that if there's a person who's in the country legally, that person is reported. But the contradiction comes in again where schools are saying if a person or a child is undocumented, then they must automatically put the responsibility at the hands of the school to go and document the child. How did the child come into the country is not questioned anymore, because suddenly the rights of the child are more important than the rights of a South African child who could be very well not getting a space in school because this child came from this other country and just decided to start a life. So that is very important for us, for the effects of these laws and the emphasis on people who are not South Africans getting their human rights prioritized over that of South Africans. We have children today who don't have spots in schools, teachers complaining that they're teaching 70 children, other parents complaining that they have to go to other places and other parts of where they live in order to get a school for their children because there's no space. It's being occupied, it's been taken. Even people dying in hospitals because these organs of states have a duty to report these people. But they also complain. They say when we report, we get told that they have rights and their rights are important to be protected. So maybe it's time that all organs of states now are told what is the right way to go about reporting people who are illegal immigrants. And there's no way to monitor them at the moment. How are hospitals reporting illegal immigrants? You get there, nurses are saying, no, we can't report them because we're told that ethically we have to serve everyone. But at the end of the day, it also says that they have a duty to report them. So how are we choosing what's the right thing to do and what's not, and what is more important legally and what's not? So we've got a serious crisis when it comes to that, and we'd like for the department to answer on how are these organs of state reporting people that they see as non-South Africans who are not carrying the right documents or fraudulently occupying other people's IDs, etc., which is something that we've seen because it's becoming a normal thing. So we also would like to find out that there was the 2023 parliamentary findings from the portfolio committee that the task team that was investigating visas and permits on the June 2023, they came back with findings that there's a lot of corruption that comes with visas and handing out of permanent residency to people who are non-South Africans. And there was even a finding that students who are here from prominent universities like Fort Hare are getting study visas, but they're not actually here to study. Or they have study visas, they stay for a year, study in South Africa, and then it becomes a permanent thing. They no longer leave. Sometimes they no longer even complete their degrees. And we haven't heard a report on what was done with these universities, what is done with the entire concept of visas and residency and permits being handed over to people here in South Africa. Is there a limit? Is there a cap? It goes back to the same issue of refugees and asylum seekers. Is there a number that can be limited to? Because remember, we cannot have a country that's currently sitting on poverty, unemployment, overstretched resources, and we keep on extending our refugees and we keep wanting to feed everyone who's got problems in their own countries. In as much as it's a good thing to have Ubuntu, but we cannot run the country on Ubuntu. We have to run it by prioritizing these people who have no other country, and that's us as South Africans. These other people, their countries can wake up one morning and they're prospering and they can quickly run back to where they come from. We don't have that option. Africa is our first and our only option. And then also we've noted that there's no consequent management when it comes to the monitoring compliance and the enforcement of Section 42, which we had mentioned gives people a responsibility to go and report people they're seeing that they're in the country legally. There's no number, for example, which would make it easy for people to say, there's a number that I can call, and this is the person, it's my neighbor, it's this person. Can the departments swiftly act? Because a lot of these people who are in the country now are portraying criminal elements. It's no longer, as people used to think before, that it's people who are poor, who need help. A lot of them are becoming criminals, and we've noted this because I'm going to detail something from our experience as March and March, where we had a family in KwaMashu call us because they were like, we're tired of this person occupying our home, but every time try and evict them, this person will call izinkabi, which are killers, to come to us and threaten us and tell us that they don't want to leave yet and they are protected. So the idea is that these people who come in as refugees or asylum seekers are now setting up tuck shops everywhere, and I think it's something we all know. We've seen a number of South Africans complaining that their tuck shops have either been threatened to close down, they have burnt them down. I know a guy personally from Pretoria whose tuck shop was burnt down in Orange Farm. Well, it's not Pretoria, in Orange Farm, and he said that they had been threatening him for a long time, and he reported this, and he still didn't get any help. These are the Ethiopians and Somalians who are now taking over the tuck shop business and using scare tactics and killing people and threatening them and burning down their shops. But until now, we don't understand why do we keep extending refugee and asylum seeker permits to these people, because they are not here on good intentions. I am yet to see many of them go out and progressively prosper the country and do it in the right way without trying to take over and do criminal activities. And this is a cause for concern for us as South African citizens. And the other question we have is that we know these places that they live in. We know, for example, that there's a Point Road in Durban where it's dominated by Nigerians. People complain of crime, they complain of the drugs there, but we've never seen the department actively going there to root out these people from their places, to remove them from the comfort of creating organized places where they can carry on organized crime, because it's putting our lives at risk as South Africans. And we'd appreciate it if the department is having these operations, if they can go to those areas, create a sense of respect for the laws of our countries, because we know that they do not respect the laws of our country. And every time we as an organization go to the department and we identify these places, we receive a response that says we do not have enough capacity in order to take over or to carry out these operations, because there's only 860 immigration officers in the whole country. And for us, it scares us that you can be sitting on a crisis where there's millions of people that we don't know what the actual number is in the country, and there's no urgent solution that is being recommended that speaks of the sense of danger that the country is in. As we've seen bombs coming in, we've seen illegal mining, we've seen cash in transit heists, and many other sorts of crimes that have been committed by people that are not identifiable. Moyo recently shot the police, he runs away, he's not identified, he still comes back, he's found, he's caught, still runs away. It speaks of a country that is lawless, unfortunately, and a system that doesn't speak to the people and protecting its own people. And we ask the department again to be the one that takes this matter into their own hands, because this is the department that has been tasked not to hand out visas or IDs or birth certificates or marriage certificates, etc., but the protection of the country is mostly with the Home Affairs Department and the National Defense Force, which is also in crisis at the moment. And we also ask, as I'm quickly almost done, that this issue of capacity that we keep hearing, and the issue of the cost of deporting and building the border, we would like to address it in two ways. In terms of capacity, there's a lot of times that we've heard that the department doesn't have the capacity to carry out raids, as I mentioned, because there's not enough immigration officers, there's not enough money to build a border, there's not enough money to do A, B, C, D. And we would like to say that it's quite saddening and disheartening that people like ourselves, as March and March, will put ourselves forward to say, you don't have to pay us even a cent, but we don't get that same reception that says these are ordinary South Africans who are just concerned about the well-being of this country. They don't seek any money, they don't seek any form of anything. We just want to make sure that our children have a future. And we don't get a response from the Department of Home Affairs that is willing to listen to us, first of all, just to listen. And we don't get a reception of people who know that they have a crisis and would be happy to receive the assistance of the community. Because at the end of the day, it's the community that needs to root these people out to make sure that they don't get comfortable in being in the country illegally in partnership with the department. However, what we see is a number of corrupt officials at the Home Affairs Department prospering and being known for being corrupt. People are reporting that to us. We report it to Home Affairs, but we don't get a response that is that of an emergency, that is that of people who see that the country is in serious and dire need to get rid of people who are illegal immigrants and who are ruining this country. So we are putting ourselves forward once again and saying, instead of disempowering us and saying that you are not immigration officers, as we've been told, you can't do A, B, C, D. Why does the department not empower ordinary citizens in a way that they are also able not to fight, not to violently remove everyone, but to partner with the police as people who are assisting the department and removing these people from places that they are not supposed to be in? If there's no employment for illegal immigrants, they won't be here. If there's no schools that we're giving them access to, they won't be here. If there's no documentation that allows them to be South African, they won't be here. If there's no hospitals and clinics, there won't be an influx of them coming in to get medication. So ideally, we have created an environment that is enabling of illegal immigration. And then when the people or the citizens of the country complain, they are told that they are the ones that are wrong. And that is going to end up frustrating the citizens even more. And it's not going to help in solving the problem. So I am asking again for the Home Affairs Portfolio Committee to empower South Africans to be able to say, we are no longer happy with the influx of people who are danger to this country, who are stretching our resources, who are criminal elements, and we'd like for them to be removed in our communities and be able to allow us to be citizens of this country, and only allow people in the country who are here to do good, but also review the documents that you've been given to people. Even if you gave someone a document as an asylum seeker, but they're not behaving as an asylum seeker, revoke those documents without fear or favor. They're here on a student visa. You see they are not doing the activities of a student. Remove those documents from them. Do not give out documents to people to walk around and do as they please, because currently we even have a March and March group overseas who are complaining that their visas of South Africa, the passports of South Africa, have become an element of fear even to international countries, because it's in the hands of Nigerians and it's in the hands of Zimbabweans or whoever is in the country and is doing wrong things. But when those people are caught, they have a South African passport, therefore they are identified as South Africans, and it makes us the country that is going to be at risk being sanctioned, of being stopped from coming to international countries because they perceive that behavior to be that of South Africans, when in actual fact, it's not. It's just the department that's given it to the wrong people, and our passport is in the wrong hands. So in the last and final closing, the issue of the cost of deportation and the border, our country has made it so sad to have a constitution that we once hailed as the best constitution in the world is now actively the one that is destroying us as South Africans. We as South Africans are oppressed by the very constitution that was meant to be for South Africans, because somehow, somewhere, people wherever decided to interpret it to be a constitution for the whole world, when the constitution of this country was meant to please the people of this country. So I'm asking the portfolio committee today that when there are certain laws or things that are being passed in terms of immigration or things that will affect the country, example, the one that uses the surnames of South Africans, where you can marry your husband and take your wife can take your husband's surname, or the husband can take the wife's surname. In a case like that, there are four couples that wanted to have that because they wanted to prosper their relationship somehow. I don't know. But it wasn't a thing where two couples wanted to take each other's surnames. Now, in hindsight, that sounds like something that's fine, where two people are loving each other and want surnames. But the ripple effects of it are now affecting our own cultures, our own tradition, our own values, where we know very well we already had a crisis of South African women selling off our citizenship to foreigners. Now it's even worse because now they get to take our surnames. I'm saying the department did not even argue in that matter, the Home Affairs Department, because when we read the papers, we saw that the minister did not make much submissions or oppositions to that. But we as South Africans, we didn't know that there was something like that happening. We were not given an opportunity to consult traditional leaders and our culture and whoever to have a say in the matter, because I'm telling you, in millions of South Africans, we would have rejected that, to say, you can't be doing that because there's no culture in the world that says that people must be allowed to do that. And yes, of course, it is a choice. But the choice, remember, also opens up a floodgates for people who are here to do criminal activities to now be identified as South Africans with South African surnames. If that had to be done and people wanted to marry each other, there should have been a limitation to say it must be people who are married and who are South Africans and who are not seeking citizenship. There should have been rules in place that say, even if we give you that right, but here are the terms and conditions. We can't just have a blanket approach on everything when we know we've got an immigration crisis. It's not fair on South Africans. It's not fair on our culture. It's not fair on our practices. So I ask that every time we also have an issue that is of immigration status and can affect the whole country, can we as South Africans be given an opportunity to have a say in the matter? Because we are very unhappy about this issue. And also we are very unhappy about the documentation of children who are in schools. What about the South African children? Do they not deserve a proper education while we're trying to please people from other countries countries who've got their own governments. And if we are saying we want to take immigration seriously, currently, foreigners and illegal immigrants in general disrespect our government because they know they will always pay their way out. They'll go to Home Affairs, they'll pay people, they'll pay. And then also, when we are out on the streets, they'll tell us you're not immigration officers. They know there's no immigration officers. So I'm asking, is there no way that as a committee, we can find a way to say anyone who is found in the country illegally, and because they are repeat offenders, especially when it comes to the 90-day stamp, they go to the border, they get a stamp, they come back. They even now send the visas to the border to get stamped without the person actually going. But it's not meant to be a repeat stamp. It's meant to be a stamp to visit and go. But we know they're not visiting, they're staying. So in those cases, can we not find a way to find people who continuously break our laws and who continuously break our immigration acts, and these people have money. So that money can go towards fixing the border gates. It can also go towards deporting them because we are currently paying for them to get free transport home and come back. And it's to the expense again of South Africans. People who are here in the country legally, they must be here for a reason. They are not broke, they are not poor. There's something that they're doing in the country that's making them to continuously stay in South Africa. They have money. And them having money ends up being to the detriment of South Africans because now they feel like they're more entitled than we are. Can we ask that people who are in the country legally are fined? Even if it's a repeat offender, you fine them even more for being caught the second time, being in the country legally. Take that money, use it back to the South African department, and we're able to build a proper border, and we're able to be able to deport them with their own money. That's where I will end the chair. I think I've said a mouthful, but I really need to use this opportunity because I know a lot of South Africans have been bleeding internally when it comes to the issue of illegal immigration and illegal immigrants themselves, because they also have become a problem to us. It's no longer just the law. Even they themselves have become arrogant, they've become rude, they've become brazen, they've become criminals. And it goes on and on and on. And it needs to end, Chair. South Africa needs to be for South Africans. Thank you.
That is Jacinta. Jacinta. Like the video.